Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, today I have Kenny Ridgel on the line, and he is the founder and CEO over at Ridge Media. Kenny, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it, Adam. Love following along with your stories, and some of your guests have been really highly intelligent and very helpful.
All right. Well, we got some to talk about today. I want to get into data, turning data into dollars, how we do that, why it matters, and what makes sense. Really, a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives that watch this, and we want to know how do we make some more money. But before we get into that, we'll start this episode the way that we start them all, with what we like to call our Mission Matters Minute. So, Kenny, at Mission Matters, our aim and our goal is to amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. That's what we do. Kenny, what mission matters to you?
Yeah, honestly, the mission that matters to me is helping small businesses. I started my company knowing that my dad, my uncle, my grandfather all ran small, like mom and pop style companies. When I started my company, being in digital marketing space, we're in the South in the United States, and I would say they struggled to find anybody that could help them just make a website, have a little bit of a social media presence. And I found that, like, just a little bit of work, like if they're doing nothing and you do something, you have a tremendous impact. So that was really what made me want to start my company, was to help mom and pop businesses get online, build their business, and move into the future.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great having you on. I love bringing on mission-based individuals to share and to also see what we can learn from you. So, Kenny, first off, I want to go back to those early days. When did you get into digital media? What was this roughly?
Yeah, so my dad's a dentist. I wanted to be a dentist, and I started going into biochemistry through my school days, and in my university days, my dad recommended, hey, take an entrepreneurship course. It's going to be good for you. So when you do start the dental practice, you'll know what to do. Through that class, they challenged us to come up with a business plan or an idea. My idea was a app. It told you like specials, concerts, happy hours, anything around the city. I was in college. What I cared about was,
what year was this roughly? Just roughly.
This was like 12 years ago.
Wow. Yeah, there you go. So that's ancient in digital media, man. You're old school. Go ahead.
Exactly. So I started an app when I was in college, and then started trying to sell ads on the app. I had like 250 paying customers that were paying me for advertisement through the app, but it was a lot of heavy lift labor-wise to keep the app up. So I ended up selling on the side a lot of marketing advertising pieces just to fund the app. Right. Yeah. So, we'll run your social media. We'd love to make you a website. Do you need any like social media ads or LinkedIn ads, or next thing you know, and you're doing videography and photography, and you're doing all these different design projects. And at the end of the day, for me, I saw it as like a way to fund the app. I got all the way down like 2 or 3 years into it. So I started in college. By the time I graduated and had more responsibilities financially building up, I realized, like, look, my app is draining me. I'm actually making money on this advertising company. So I know the professor, we decided to split the books up, and he was like, look, you need to get out of the app and go straight into this ad. And thankfully, through that, I already had customers, already had success. I'd already figured out how to like prove ROI to our customers, which is kind of what we're talking about today. Because the one thing I sat down with the consultant at that time period and said, what kind of ad agency do I want to be? What niche do I want to pick? And he said, well, it looks like the people who keep you and retain you are the ones that you may help make money. So you should look at industries where you can actually track, like, from beginning to end, whenever you had closes, and what your like financial return was.
Before we get in, I want to go further into that, but I got to get back to that app for a reason, and I'll tell you why. When you come up with an idea, sometimes as entrepreneurs, we're stuck on that idea. That was our first idea. That was our thing. Like, some people say that was my baby, right? That's how they kind of talk about that first idea. What was it like to kind of separate yourself from that first idea? Because that app was your start, man.
I agree. It was actually really difficult. And for the longest time, I fought it. But at the end of the day, I will say, like, my passion developed for like small business and like having those mission moments. And I would say that was kind of like what led me to feeling like more passion for the ad agency than I did whenever I was running the app.
It's like weird, like, but once you were done with it, though, it kind of changed, right? You're like, oh, you had this.
Yeah, I would say the app was like one of those things where I had like joy and passion, but it was more of like an ego thing. If I look at it like retrospectively, like it felt really cool to start an app. And like, it was like was kind of a cool lifestyle business. But at the end of the day, once I had a couple of clients that I saw went from like $1 million to a $5 million business, a $5 million business to like a 15
like, that's business. Cool.
You're like, okay, yeah, I'm actually making an impact over here. Like, this is actually really cool. And then I would wake up and go to work and I would barely touch the app, and I would find myself all day trying to help my clients that were in that marketing space. And that's when I realized, like, okay, my passion's not in it. I need to give this equity back to the partners and get out.
Yeah.
So I was like, look, I don't really care about the app anymore. All I want to do is like help these businesses make more money. Because at some point, I think growing up in a family of small business owners, you feel for them. You know, you can help them, and they can't help themselves because they're so busy. So at the end of the day, you can see stuff they can't see from just seeing the forest for the trees.
Yeah.
Let's do some low hanging fruit and improve your business right away today.
Yeah, that's a good story. I had to bring that one out because I know that there may be some people watching this now that have to choose between a couple things or what that's like, and to get rid of that first idea, it's like, but there's going to be more ideas in the future. There's hope on the other side, right?
Exactly. It's always, you'll find a new passion.
Yeah. So Kenny, let's get into what you're doing present day. Maybe just jump right into Ridge Media. So first, tell us a little bit more about the business and the types of clients you work with.
Yeah, actually, we were just talking about this right before we started. I would say the best way to describe what we are is we're a full service marketing agency, and what that looks like is more of like we are a fractional marketing team. I describe it perfectly for today's environment where you might have a strong social media team member, but you're weak on your design or your production capabilities. We could come in alongside that social media team member, help do the design pieces, help do the production, and help like stay on strategy and on brand. And then say, for example, that social media team member were to leave and take a new job. We would already know your story, your purpose, your target audience, your market, your voice, and we'd be able to step in and fill those shoes. So we can basically work on an a la carte basis and like become fractional, but really plug and play based on where the void is. And I think the main idea from that is that it's more consultative, right? We're looking at how your business operates. We're trying to read it like it's an entire book, looking from the top down. And sometimes whenever you're just in the business, I mean, I know from as a business owner myself, hiring outside help, looking at my company helps all the time. So, I mean, a lot of times you come in and you just see things immediately. You can make a minor adjustments and improve the way their business operates. But I would say the main way it works is it's a custom plan. There is no packages. There's none of this. It's, hey, if we end up having to figure out how to track your cars when they drive around the city from a technological perspective, nothing to do with marketing, we'll figure out a way to like advance your company into that digital age. So we're almost marketing and tech at the same time.
That's awesome. What kind of niches are you working in?
Yeah, the three niches we have, we call them the 3 H's. So one's healthcare, one's hospitality, one's home service. So I like to even spin it around the other way. Like those three are all targeting the same person, right? So you're like your plastic surgeon, your dermatologist, your like orthodontist, they're probably all targeting like a level of an individual who has a high level of net worth. They have disposable income. The same idea with you go to like your home services, your plumbing, your heating and air, your electricians. And then the same idea when you go to hospitality, they're probably going to luxury restaurants, luxury hotels. So we're almost using the same like customer demographic profile, and then you like amplifying that message regardless of what you're selling back to those people.
Go further into what that means to use the customer profile, because that's really where the data comes into place. And I think for those that maybe haven't been able to do that successfully, it may seem kind of like this unicorn of, oh, they can attract this person that we've already had before. Like talk a little bit more about what that looks like, because I feel like for those that have done it effectively, they get it. But for those that have maybe tried and had some false starts, it almost seems like it's not possible.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. And the main thing, I think the biggest mistake people can make early on when you're trying to set up tests is testing too much at once. I think you got to just like isolate your variables. Like we're going to pick like one thing and then one audience metric and one.
Give an example, like go into any of the 3 niches you have when you say that, just to kind of make that a little more clear.
Yeah, I love that. So basically, I'll give you a perfect example. We were working with a company that was doing like high-end installation only, like HVACs, right? They didn't want to do any maintenance. They had enough maintenance jobs. They only wanted to do installs. We started looking for commonalities of high net worth people that would be either building a house or doing a level of renovation that would require this $20,000 to $30,000 installation. Well, ironically, the one thing we found through our testing was we were as isolating what their interests were. Was it that they spent on nice dinners? They went to certain nice places. So you were using credit card information and data through databases to test this. The one thing we found was that people who held a singular real estate investment company, they had and created an entity for that LLC, or for like, the property they had it in, those
Yeah.
people actually ended up being the best installs, which makes sense, right? They are real estate investors. They're doing more than one real estate deal. So those people would be like really highly qualified. But
Yeah.
from an HVAC company, for like, what interest are we going to run? Real estate investors was definitely like not the first thing we thought of. And then, but sure enough, we used one piece of creative. We tested 3 or 4 different audiences. We found, hey, the real estate one really worked. Then
What does it take to get to that point of like that aha moment? I'm guessing sometimes it's faster than other times. Like, take us through stay on that same case study. What does it take to get to that aha moment?
Yeah, the main thing we did was we found 2 pieces of creative, and then we found 4 audiences. We A/B tested both across everything, right? So you end up with like basically 16 tests.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm talking quick, but really the main thing you're looking for is like a really quick proof of like momentum. Because I mean, if we spend enough money within a week, because it's almost more money spent than it is timeline. Because once you put enough money in, you get enough data out quickly, and then trends will emerge. So like, I think within a week we were able to identify that a couple ones that did not work. And then the moment they don't work, right? Okay, we're getting clicks.
Yeah.
Turn the thing off quick. Start another test. So like, I remember we started out with people who like drank fine wines is one of our things. Like, one of our other ideas was somebody who was like a status at American Airlines or Delta. Both those ended up not being very good, but we were thinking they're high net worth individuals. They probably would be like, doing installation of HVAC. We threw those out quickly and just continue to modify what that audience metric looks like. But see, I think what you can do to take it one step further is you could layer all 4 of those together and say, like, they drink wine, they're real estate investors, they do this, they do that. Which part of the 4 was the one that worked? If you're testing all 4 at the same time with one piece of creative, you're not confused. You're like, was it all 4 pillars have to be together, or was it one of the 4 that worked?
No, that's great, and it takes a certain type of company and a certain type of expertise to be able to go through those tests consistently over and over and over, and even to communicate it to the client so that the client understands what's going on, because it's not easy. It's a skill set, and there's some companies that do it well, and some that maybe don't as much, and some that burn out even on the industry. Because running ads and doing that piece of it, that can be pretty tricky. I've seen some people have some good careers and burn out pretty quickly. What's been kind of your secret to longevity in this space?
I will say the real secret to longevity is finding companies that are solid clients. Like, they actually can deliver the product they're selling. I would say the thing that is the most frustrating for us as a company and as marketers is when we're doing a job this effectively, and then you just start seeing their negative reviews skyrocket. They start having leads dry up for stuff that's
they weren't ready for the additional business.
Exactly, yeah. And then they don't know
how to paid us to get you business, and we did that part, but we can't. How are we going to do in this?
And then they
now
start
we got a reputation management problem. Okay.
Yeah. Next thing you know, their own Google reviews, like writing back at the customers who wrote them a 1-star review, like getting angry at the customer. You're like, no, don't respond negatively to the 1-star review. Like, ask that guy to have a private conversation and try and fix it. You cannot go on the internet and like blast this person. But you see these things happen, and you're just like, okay, so as a marketer, I would say that's like the burnout for me, is just making sure you have a customer that is going to trust you and actually let you do your job, and then do their job well. So 2 pieces: trust and them actually being a stand-up company, because both need to happen. Like, you can't have them micromanaging you, and they also need to be able to do their job.
Yeah, I've always thought that the individuals that could do this particular business were pretty special, because it's almost like it's depending on, of course, the customer. It does come to the customer for a certain part, because it's like, if you're successful, and you can bring in new business, that's what you're paid to do. But sometimes it can backfire, whether they're not like what you mentioned, or even now it's not enough new business, or it's not this, or it's that, and you're like, wait a minute. And then the opposite, if you're obviously not attracting new business and doing that part, that's an obvious no win. So it's like, wait a minute, if I do it right, I'm off, and if I do it wrong, I'm off. What's up?
Yeah. I think one of the things I try and talk to people about too is setting expectations. I think that is part of the burnout, like you talked about.
Yeah.
I think everyone expects it to be like a trend line that just goes like this
forever.
It's a heartbeat. You're going to have good months and bad months. And if you expect if your client doesn't have that same expectations, you can get run out of the door quickly, because they just expect, because you might start out, if you're doing nothing, you start doing something. Your first few months are probably going to go straight up. Then at some point you start plateauing, and whether they might either invest more and then it continues to prop you up, or at some point you're going to have to like get more efficient with what you're doing, because it's going to start
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom. And you're
Yep.
like, okay, we need to hold on the horses because it's going to get turbulent here. But I think maybe it's setting the expectation, or else you're going to have your clients are going to be volatile.
Yeah.
1 month they're happy, 1 month they're not, 1 month they're happy, 1 month they're not.
Mm.
And if you're reacting like that from an agency perspective, you're like, yes, like
Mhm.
storm, no storm, storm, no storm.
Yeah. Now, I want you to kind of equip a bit, and obviously, I'm going to give you an opportunity, and everybody, I want you to go check out Ridge Media, but I want you to speak kind of from the general standpoint because you've been in there for a long time. If somebody's out there and they're looking for an agency and they're shopping around, and let's just, for the sake of this argument, say it's not one of your niches or something that you handle, what are some tools or what are some things they should be thinking about when they're doing their due diligence and picking an agency?
I would ask about the tech stack, and I know that's a very odd question. The two things I always recommend people do: ask about the tech stack, like what kind of technology they're using.
Yeah.
If they're going to try and act like it's some foreign custom intellectual property that they have, most likely, most likely that's not going to be a good sign. Like, you want them to be transparent with you about these are the programs we're using, so that you can vet those programs. Because a lot of times, if somebody tries to act like we have some secret magic sauce, it's really it's probably smoke and mirrors. Because at the end of the day, you should be transparent. We tell all of our clients, we're using a program called X, and we're doing this with it. I'll give you a perfect example. Recently, we met with a client, and when we sat down, and I figured out he was not in our niche. He wasn't going to be perfect for us, but I was helping him. And I said, hey, look, based on your industry, there's something called Pearl Diver. It's like a website identification tool. Whenever people search your company's name or your competitor's name, you can actually get that person's phone number and email, and you can put it in your CRM. You can start emailing and phone calling them based on their internet intent and searches. So it's in the United States. It's legal through the GDPR. I don't know how they get away with it, but they do. And so you can basically use that as an identification tool. You should be using call tracking, like a call rail program that monitors and records every phone call that comes in. It uses artificial intelligence to transcribe it. It shows all the touches you had, and then gives you a good quality score or a negative quality score. So then you can tie that back into your CRM, and you can actually say, okay, we met, Adam, he came through our this. We started emailing him, we called him, then he saw our Facebook ad, then he actually searched on Google. So we had 4 touches plus a phone call. We know what our full total cost is. Adam he spent this much money. So say it cost us $50 to get the meeting with Adam. We ended up, Adam spent $1,000 with us. We had a 20 to 1 ROI.
Yeah.
And then whoever you're interviewing should be able to walk you through what the user journey looks like, and then they tell you a true cost per lead. So that's why I would say what technology you're using. That's usually your tip tail. Go away. Yeah. They're gonna tip you off if they try and make it seem like no one has access to.
So it should be that clear, like what you just described, or it could be that clear.
It should be that clear to where it's all the way drilled down. And I would say the main thing is, even if you're B2B, we've been doing a little bit more B2B. I wouldn't say it's one of our niches yet, but I will, because of the fact they have a CRM, they're tagging the customer information. If their sales team's organized, you can, one-to-one match and attribute all of our, what I just described to you, that same metric. Say that Adam came through our CRM, he called anyone, have a meeting. We did have a meeting. The salesperson in the CRM tags that you spent whatever amount of money. Yep. Now we can do the same ideation of coming back and pairing it. So basically the CRM component of the B2B would be very necessary for us. But I mean, that's kind of back to the whole situation of yes, I do think that whatever marketing you're doing, you should 100% be able to tag a clear cost for a lead and a clear cost per a sale, honestly. Even if it's a long-term sales process. We're working with someone who's an architect that takes a year and a half after they do the RFP bidding to their closing. So it took us a year to figure out that to draw the line in the sand from when it started to the end. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we were able to do it. It just took time.
That's awesome. That's a great story. And I like that you bring up the longer sales cycle as well, because sometimes people, they'll say, well, it won't work for us because of this, or we're not selling this. And there's kind of almost like this myth that it's only for a quick product, like a TikTok shop or a smaller, lower dollar item, but you're proving it right there. It's not only for a lower dollar item to be able to make it effective with online and digital advertising.
Exactly. Yeah. There's definitely a time and a place where you can bring this type of technology really forward. I mean, it gets it pretty interesting into the fact of now, on the CRM, based on the stage, you can actually have certain creative that goes and applies to that stage. So if we have say cold, warm, and hot, any person that's getting in cold, they're getting general brand awareness. We add some tags to it and say Kenny, he came through, he was interested in this type of product. Say we'll call it a heating and air, and we'll call it a tankless water heater. He moves into the middle, like now I'm getting ads because I'm in the warm category about the tankless water heater and the heating and air. We get all the way down to the bottom. Kenny said no to the heating and air, but he still wants a tankless water heater. Kenny's getting an offer that's a close today, like a timely offer of tankless water heaters now like $100 off calls today. So the idea is that message and creative is switching in real time as the sales team is switching the person through the CRM. So it's really cool how it can be all integrated and like stacked on top of each other to where it's sharing data back and forth.
I love it. And talk a little bit more about the data side of things and how you're integrating both third-party data and maybe the data maybe from even the CRM, like what you just mentioned a moment ago. Like for those that haven't done it, like maybe talk a little bit about just how data works.
Yeah, the best part about it is you can funnel fresh new data from databases, right? And those would give you consistently updated new people that match your like we said before, credit card data, shoot if they're frequent flyers, they're travelers, they like to listen to. I mean, we're doing one right now that's a nice resort, and the idea is that he's like a luxury yoga resort. So we went for people who have like we're watching meditation YouTube videos, who had a meditation app. Like what are these things that they're doing online that makes sense for them to be like a yoga studio type of person?
Yeah.
But really, like what we're doing through that is we're layering that data, trying to curate like if you call it an avatar. And we're trying to make like 2 to 3 to 4 avatars and using that data basically, number one, to refresh all of our ad targeting. So we're not doing a shotgun. We're not saying like, we want to touch everybody in like the Southeast. We're saying we want to touch everybody in the Southeast that likes yoga and likes this. And they must have these intersecting qualities about income levels. And you're basically like, you're choosing them and you're intersecting them more over time, right? So we know this one works and we know this one works. So let's blend them together. They can have both those categories. So it's a methodical building process. We always say it takes like 90 days to really have a good like true audience like built out. But if you start at the beginning and you slowly layer them, I think the one problem, like I said before, is everyone can like try and just go to the soup bowl method, put everything in there, but then you don't know which part to take out. It becomes a guessing game. It's easier to start small and then layer on top. But the big piece of it is like you said, using your CRM, your like point of sale system data, making sure you're harnessing and leveraging that because you have open APIs that can go right into Google, can go right into Facebook, can go right into these like programs. And you can even create lookalike audiences from the people who've already shopped with you. Like no reason to recreate the wheel. We have 2,000 historical customers. Let's try and find a lookalike audience. Plug that thing into Facebook, plug it into Google, create your lookalike. Now you might have 4,000 or 5,000 people that all act the same way online. I mean, a lot of people don't realize what data they have. I think that's one of the most fun things for me is we don't have an email list. Well, you probably have a customer list. You probably have people who use credit cards with you. You probably like you can end up building, if they've been in business for a year, they have an email list. They just don't realize
sure. Yeah. Man, Kenny, this has been fun having you on the show today and learning more about what you're doing. I love talking. I'm not going to lie. I love talking to ad guys because my mind's always blown. My mind doesn't quite work that methodically. So, so I understand. And I've never been in that business, but I've had many conversations and I'm like, man, that's cool. Like I'm always blown away by what can be done. And I guess, how does how's this affecting what you're doing? Is it a good thing, a bad thing? Is it like making you more efficient? Like talk to me about how AI plays into this on the ad side. Cause I haven't had someone like you in a while since we've in the last 6 months to a year where, they're heavy in ads for over a decade. So what's AI doing over there?
Oh man, it's insane. I'll put it this way. Like if you want to
blow my mind, Kenny, I already know, man, just do it.
Yeah. If you want to build a website now, we would do like a website questionnaire. Whereas before you might have like a 3-step process where you do like copy, design, website. Now we will say, Adam, you want to build a website today? I would most likely have a meeting. I'd have my like GPT-5 in there with me. I'd walk you through a website questionnaire, including what inspiration websites you like, what language you like from those websites. We would be very like thorough, probably take 45 minutes to an hour. It condenses, like records all that, rewrites it into a prompt, and then prompts the AI agents and the like GPT-5 to build you a website. Within an hour, we could basically have a full new website that we can methodically go through and like refine. So you can went from basically like building a website in like a 6 to 8 week process to within an hour, you can have your first prototype. It's like we meet, and by the time you drive back to your office and get lunch and get inside, I'm sending you an email being like, hey, Adam, check out this new website. And you're like, what in the heck did this guy just do? But at the end of the day, like we can fire up new landing pages like that so quickly. You have all these different capabilities. It's kind of like I talked about with the qualification of the leads, right? The person who's like literally the AI is transcribing that. We can even have it say, once it transcribes it, marks it as a quality lead, it tells our CRM, hey, go ahead and email this person or draft an email to this person. And it'll go ahead and either send it to the sales agent so they can make sure it is approved, or they can go ahead and start sending them emails right away. You can have the AI agent pick up the phone and call them, like for like our heating and air people. Say somebody requested an appointment. Sorry, ma'am, we saw you requested for 10 a.m. tomorrow, but we actually don't have one at 10. We have one at 11. Completely AI automated. So like before it even hits the schedule for the drivers, it's already been handled and processed by like an AI agent. It's crazy right now. We're like in the cusping edge of like right now we're going through and redoing all of our SEO and the way it flows. We plugged in 2 plugins, replaced majority of like human input. All you have to do now is oversight and approval, and it's rewriting all of our back end copy, all the schema, all the markup, and then it's like creating new blogs based on what trend lines it saw on our keywords on Google. So it's like, hey, Google saw these keywords trending this month. These keywords are the most expensive on Google Ads. We recommend you writing these so you can win the SEO from these expensive high search volume keywords. It's crazy.
I love it. I love it. It's the battle. It's the battle right now for who's going to implement the fastest. And the thing is, it's just the way I see it is we're so early that there's so much opportunity in all of this. Like I get updates. I'm not involved on the day-to-day on our end on this, but I get updates on some of the things we're doing, and it just blows my mind. I'm like, what? From one week to another, we're doing what? And I think about like in the past when I wasn't able to, let's say, necessarily approve some things or approve some projects because of the amount of money it was going to cost. And I'd be like, no, that's not, because it's usually a decision of what we want, like our bells and whistles of what we want, and then what's going to make us money. And then, the balancing act of a business, right? And so now sometimes when they'll bring me the cost and I'm like, wait a minute, are you serious? I'm like, of course, let's do that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing. I'm like, all these things that are able to happen and some of the things that have come down the pipeline that have been, let's just say, on the wish list for a long time. And now with AI and these tools and everything else, the price is it's just changed. The game's changed.
The game has literally changed. It's nuts now. Like, I mean, basically in every component piece of it, you got your social media, you got your email marketing, you got your outreach, your outbound, your phone calls. Like, I mean, AI is touching every single component, the design, the copy, the development end. I mean, it's insane. It's like at some point it's like embedded into every single piece. The only part we haven't done it with is our accounting. And we use it for like reporting, but I'm sure there's got to be a way I can find some AI agent to help me.
Soon enough, right? Once you get away, we'll get around to it. I know.
Exactly.
Well, Kenny, man, this has been great having you on today. If somebody's watching or listening to this, and if they want to follow up and they want to connect with the Ridge Media team, how do they do that?
Yeah, just check us out. You can go to my LinkedIn page. It's Kenny Ridgell, just RIDGELL is how you spell it. Or Ridge Media. That's why we went with the company name, because no one could spell Ridgell. So I was tired of saying Ridge with 2 L's. So it's just ridgemediallc.com. Reach out to us. We do a free audit. What I can actually do is actually have like an AI bot crawl your website and give you like a full competitive reporting research. I know probably like a 10 to 12 page document, but it'll give you like basically a playbook that you can run with for the next steps forward. So I look forward to talking to everybody soon. And thank you so much again, Adam, for having me, man. It was awesome.
Absolutely. Great times. And for everybody watching, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so you can go and connect with Kenny's team. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way on your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Kenny, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you. Cheers, Adam.